Hi guys, my name's Emma and let's talk spooky stuff. South Korean horror fans, have you seen The Mimic? This horror thriller written and directed by Ha Jung went under my radar after being released in 2017. And although this film has a few flaws and it sits at 5.4 on IMDb, I think it's really underappreciated for its lore aspect and of course for its interesting sound design. The plot follows a young woman who is struggling to come to terms with the fate of her missing son. Upon moving to the mountains, she meets a young girl who holds a dark secret. Sounds stereotypical, right? Her family soon discovers that everything is leading back to an eerie cave, which legend has it is home to a creature that mimics the voices of humans. What I really love about The Mimic is that the plot is inspired by the South Korean urban legend of the Jangsung tiger, a man-eating creature that roams a mountain outside of the city of Busan. The animal is rumored to lure people in by making a sound that resembles a woman crying. Sounds pretty kick-ass, right? The film actually has a fantasy type feel and it has a few fly-through shots that really remind me of the 2010 remake of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. It also contains all the usual suspects for these imprint horrors, which we usually see in Eastern film. The biggest being mirrors, which are seen throughout the film. But let's talk about some stuff I did not enjoy about the film. I felt like the special effects were very overdone and they just didn't look right. They looked very obvious and very computer generated. These tie into the aspects of the mirror and also some face rendering, which is very strange because with what they do with the special effects, it seems like it could be done even cheaper with a makeup artist and, you know, would take much less time. So I felt like that was very interesting because when I figured out that the film was from 2017, it didn't really fit going into the film. I just assumed it was from the early 2000s and it's got that look to it because of these special effects. This was amplified even more so for me because it felt like the budget was there and it had some beautiful backdrop. I mean, it's in the mountains in South Korea. It's completely stunning and I felt like the special effects was such a cop-out budget-wise. And it's no surprise that the film is beautifully shot with the landscape. There's a lot of natural light hitting the right spots across the minimalist architecture and, as expected, the surrounding forest. But don't get me wrong, this film does have a lot of heart because of the mother character, her longing for her son, and then the tiger preying on the weak. It definitely has a lot of soul in there. And it really doesn't come off as too cheesy because the mimicking sounds, oh my gosh, this sound design was amazing. Not only did it have a lot of natural sounds without the film, but the mimicking sound that the tiger makes, it's so creepy and it's a really good balance because it has such a soul and like sappy story and then like the scare factor, it kind of balances itself out. And they really do take full advantage of the voice and they use it in different ways and I thought that was really cool. And they also explain the full backstory, which again, another aspect that a lot of you guys might like. But the dramatic music played throughout the film does intensify the emotions of the characters. So playing devil's advocate, if you're not already taken by the storyline and really feel a connection to the characters, it could come off as sappy, so you could see it either way, which that's what film's all about and that's why we discuss it. Also, I did want to warn you that it does take place in a dog sanctuary type area, so there's a lot of really cute dogs throughout the film, which I love because South Korean horror films and dogs, like two of my favorite things. But I do want to warn you that there is a scene at the start that some of you guys might find quite sad, but it's over quite swiftly and I didn't think it was that believable. It's not very graphic, so I think it's okay. In the future, do you guys want me to talk about if there's animal cruelty or, you know, the dog dies, if it doesn't have anything to do with the plot? Because I get a lot of comments and messages from you guys thanking me if I talked about animal torture within the film because you're not for it and you can't watch it. So let me know if I'm spoiling it by telling you these kind of things. With this instance, it's at the very start, so it's over within like the first 2 minutes, so I think that's fine, but I can understand further into the film that you wouldn't want me to ruin it. So let me know if that's something you want from me or something you guys don't want from me. There's also a website called doesthedogdie.com, I believe. I'll link it down below and you can look up any film and see if the dog dies, so that might be a good resource for some of you guys. Overall, I think that this film would have had major hype around it if it was released in the early 2000s. Nothing about it screams recent, but if you're in the mood for South Korean folklore and a really creepy sensory aspect, I'm talking about the mimicking, why not try this one out? It might be good for a slow Sunday afternoon. Have you seen The Mimic? let me know. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10 for personal. For scare, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10, and for originality, I'm gonna give it a 6. I liked this film. I thought it was quite cool, but I could not give in to some of the special effects, and it just felt outdated for when it was released. Given those things were fixed, I think this film would be a fantastic film, but still something good to watch from South Korea. I haven't watched a lot of South Korean films recently. Let me know what you guys have been liking recently down below, and what you thought if you've seen this film. For my Australian friends, it is on SBS on demand, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Stay spooky.